Hey everyone, Ryan from eBike Escape, and in this video we are reviewing the Troxus electric scooter. Before we get started with the review, if you are looking to purchase a Troxus scooter, please consider using the link in the description before making your purchase, as that helps me continue to make videos like this one. Thanks in advance for your support. I will also have links to our electric bike resources pages. Purchases made through those pages also help support me. With that, let's get into the walk around of the Troxus scooter. All right, let's take a closer look at the Troxus scooter. You can see that we have the black one here. It also comes in silver, and there are some design elements around the scooter that make it look a little futuristic, I would say. But this thing is absolutely solid. So the company states it weighs 45 pounds. I will confirm that and put it on the screen how much I weighed this thing at. And of course, that heavier weight is going to be a factor for some people, depending on how you plan to use this. We haven't found it a big deal for us, as we are still able to load this in our vehicle, but otherwise it kind of sits in our garage. And I should also note that the current price of this scooter is $549. Let's take a closer look here. You can see at the cockpit here, we have some grips. I wouldn't say these are anything fancy. I think we'll actually be replacing these grips with something when I have something left over, perhaps from a different bike. Especially if you're going to be using this a lot, you might want to put on some more comfier grips. On the left side here, you can see we have the mechanical disc brake. This actually controls the rear brake, even though it is on the left side. And you also have an integrated bell, which is a nice addition. All right, and on the right side, you have a thumb throttle with the power button. And I'm going to switch over to showing you this display in my garage where the sun isn't shining. This is probably one of the biggest downsides of this that I found after using it, is it's just pretty difficult to read this when it's sunny outside. An overcast day, it's a little bit easier. So something that they could improve upon in a future iteration, but I'm going to walk through all the controls now. All right, now that we are in my garage, it will be much easier to see this display. I will go ahead and power it on. So the battery meter is actually these bars located at the bottom. They kind of go up and around. So this battery is almost full. It's a little bit of an odd design compared to what I've seen on other electric bikes. You do have miles per hour, and then you have the various power levels. You can see we're in the first level there. Double tap the power button, goes to 2. Double tap again to 3. Double tap again, it goes to walk mode, and it actually automatically turns the light on. And if I go back into the first power mode, the light is off. If I want the lights back on, simply hit the power button again. And so it's a pretty simple display, but again, one of the downsides is it is pretty difficult to see in the daylight. One of the things that I have really been appreciating about the scooter, especially as we've been riding it at night, are these integrated lights. They're actually pretty decent, I think. You have one up here in the front, and you also have 2 lights at the bottom of the scooter right here. And finally, you have the lights in the rear, which are on if you turn them on, but also when you hit that brake light, they also start blinking. So that's a pretty cool feature, and I will show you the brakes quickly here. You can see the mechanical disc brakes housed right there. One thing to note is that these are non-pneumatic tires. There is no air in these, so they are pretty solid. Not going to offer some cushion, but then again, you also don't have to worry about flats. You can see the size there, 8.5 by 2. And on the rear here, you have the Troxus logo, and you can see there's some nice internally routed cabling going into the platform here. There is a rubberized surface here, provides a little bit extra grip. And on the left side, you have the kickstand, nice and solid, folds up nicely under the board right there. And for the folding mechanism, you simply lift this up and pull this out and it'll fold. I'll show you that now. All right, and the way this folds again is simply lift up here and pull the little handle that they give you, and that will allow the front to be folded. And it does lock into place, so you potentially could carry it now like this without it coming unfolded. And to put the scooter upright, you simply push down on this lever here. That allows the front to come unlocked, and it clicks into place. Make sure you push that back and make sure that security lock is in place, and you're good to go. And this scooter is a front wheel drive, so you can see that the motor is housed in here. Again, non-pneumatic tires that are hollow up front as well. This is a 350 watt motor. This battery is a 36 volt, 7.5 amp hour pack. And in order to release the battery, you simply lift up here. It's going to be a little bit tricky to do it with one hand, but there's basically 2 pins that lock this in place, and the battery can come out. And in order to put it back, it's the same thing, although you do need to lift up here so that battery can be put in place, and then those locking pins lock right there. Now, one of the cool things is they do give you this charger cradle, which fits the battery, and then you can plug the charger directly into there. This is a 2 amp charger, but if you prefer, you can charge the battery right on the scooter through this little cap right there. All right, with that, let's get into some first-person riding footage. I'll share how fast this accelerates, go through the different modes, and give you a little bit better idea of how this scooter performs. All right, hopefully you can see the speed on my screen. So I am in the first power mode, and if you heard a beep, that's because this does have cruise control, which is a nice feature, so you don't have to keep holding that throttle. So simply holding onto the throttle engages cruise control, and then you can disengage it by hitting the throttle, or you can also use that brake. One thing to note with this scooter is it does not let you use the throttle until you're going about 2 miles per hour. So you kind of have to scoot yourself along with your foot in order for that throttle to be available. That's a safety feature, but it is something I wish they allowed you to override. Let's go ahead and go into the second level here. This will take us a little bit faster. So now we're holding steady at about 12 miles per hour, it looks like, in the second level of power. And then that third level is going to take us up to 15, which is the max speed of this scooter. Again, I wouldn't say this thing feels crazy powerful, but I mean 15 miles per hour still feels plenty fast when you're riding around a city. And another thing about this scooter is it does have regenerative braking with that front wheel. And so if you hold the brake just slightly, you'll feel first the regenerative motor kick in to slow you down, and then pulling more is going to engage that rear disc brake. So you do need to be careful with the brakes, just knowing that the regenerative braking is going to kick in before that rear brake. And as far as ride feel on this scooter, you can definitely feel the bumps. I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell it in the footage, but there's not a whole lot of comfort. Again, those wheels are solid, so you can't really lower the pressure. And as far as I'm aware, there's no suspension, or at least I can't feel anything. So definitely going to be best on smooth roads, though we have certainly ridden this on sidewalks and taken over bumps, just making sure that we're careful. And Troxus advertises a range of 37 miles, and we've been riding this, keeping track of how far we've gone. And so I will put on the screen how much we have gotten on a full battery charge so you can get an idea of estimated range. I think 37 miles might be a little bit on the high side for a 7.5 amp hour battery. All right, now we're going to take this up a little bit of a hill, see how it can perform. I have it in the third power mode. Again, scooters are really made for the city, unless you get something that is more powerful. City riding on flat ground, that is, you can see that we are just barely going to make it up this hill going 5 miles per hour. So this is probably as steep as I'd feel comfortable taking this scooter up. Again, flat ground, no problem, 15 miles per hour. So you might be wondering, why review an electric scooter? The way we got into electric bikes was through car replacement. Our e-bikes have been our primary mode of transportation in our city, so I wanted to see how owning an electric scooter might fit in. Troxus just happened to be the first company to reach out offering me a scooter. We've been using the Troxus T1 Pro for several short trips the last couple of months, mostly to the gym or even to a restaurant. The 15 miles per hour top speed still means we arrive at our destination pretty quickly, and the 16-mile range using mostly the highest level of power, paired with the regenerative braking, is plenty enough range to get almost anywhere in our city. Plus, the cruise control allows you to focus on the road ahead. The bright lights make riding at night more doable with the increased visibility, though you might want an external light as well. Not having ridden many electric scooters, it is hard to compare to other brands, but the Troxus T1 Pro has served our needs. The 350 watt motor is sufficient for flat roads and sidewalks. I'm around 145 pounds and felt it got me up to speed fast enough, though those who want more of a thrill might want a higher power motor. However, the 350 watt motor will also help keep your speed and acceleration in check, thus extending range. The display could be brighter, and depending on your situation, you may wish it was a bit lighter. However, this weight also makes the scooter feel more solid. Troxus is a new brand to me. It looks like they sell replacement parts for this scooter, including a replacement battery for $139. They also make e-bikes, so hopefully we'll have e-bikes to review soon. If you're looking to purchase one of these scooters, please consider using the link in the description, and be sure to check out our other resources as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Here they come.